Welcome everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're gonna like play with spirit today and see how far we go. I'm so excited, so excited. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to my beautiful clients, my beautiful, beautiful clients that have been with me forever. I love you. Thank you for sticking with me through all of these beautiful times, right? These beautiful, challenging, wonderful, don't know what you're gonna get when you wake up in the morning kind of day. The ones that have been with me through KCOR, and all of these wonderful activations. Just like all of these different breakouts in these activations, there's a lot of throat chakra activation going on. So hopefully I can be up singing next week and doing some toning and some singing and some new light language. So I'm really excited. And my body's been going through some really huge changes. I went through a whole, like last year, I lost a whole bunch of weight and I was basically bone, and I've got my curves back. a little bit too much curves, but I'm okay with it because I remember how I looked when I was just bones, and it was pretty scary. Um, and so I was getting dressed this morning, and I was putting my hand on my hip, and I was like, oh, I've got my hips back. Like my hips are there. My hips are really there. I remember a couple of years ago, Spirit saying that the divine feminine is going to come more in her goddess body energy. You know, really that beautiful hourglass is going to be really the way women are going to be moving towards, and we're going to get out of this idea that women should look like little boys. Because that has been the energy that's been the imprint in the collective as women, and a lot of girls trying to look like little boys, um, and with the very straight, skinny bodies. So it's going to be changing. We're going to be bringing a lot of the Venusian energy of the divine goddess in. You know, she's voluptuous and she's full. So that's exactly what I'm loving about myself, is just this full voluptuous experience of loving myself again, and not having the the dramatic experiences with my body just because of all the spell work. So it's really been hard on my body, because sometimes too, those of us that are conduits and we're empaths, I know that a lot of the children, the younger children, and the youth these days, how I process energy is through my physical vessel, and sometimes I do just for my own soothing, which is something that I'm working over, is I just have to eat sometimes just to soothe the energy and just to process a lot of the energy from the energy I'm transmuting, and the energy like when children, I have to transfer children over to source. Those things still play a really big emotional role on me, and the Pleiadians had said, give yourself a little bit of a break, because you do a lot of energy work that you don't really know, and you don't really nobody's really taught these things on Earth, and how your body goes through different schematics of how to work with itself, and the processing that our bodies do, right? The amount of processing that your bodies do with energy, especially when you feel it as much as I do. And if I'm not having, beautiful making love sessions, the only way that the body can move things is, either getting in the gym and working out a lot like I used to do, or, having those experiences where you have those, you like to eat. And it's not like overeating or anything. It's just like, I really love salt. So I love, cheese and crackers and those types of things. And so they're not the healthiest to kind of snack on, but I just love them. It's just, I'm giving myself that break because I don't smoke and I don't do drugs, and I have maybe wine once in a while, but I don't have any other vices, and until I have a beautiful partner that I can, really explore, all of those beautiful lovemaking experiences to help move the energy and do it in a loving and positive way. We're both manifesting something wonderful out of it, like healthy, sexy, hot bodies. You have to be gentle with yourself, especially those that are going to be awakening with your gifts, your skills, and your talents on being empathic, psychic. When you awaken to those gifts, your body is awake and alive with all of the energies you're feeling. And sometimes it does feel like this, right? Sometimes it does feel like that. And you have to do the practices. That's why we're teaching what we're teaching. The light, wisdoms, intelligences are the top thing that everybody on the planet should be learning. Everything you're going through in life, you can help your way through by just learning and doing these practices every day. So whether you've got a really stressful workplace, because again, people are not understanding ascension, they're being pressed and they're being suppressed and they're being pushed, contracted. They're really being contracted to deal with what's going on inside of them, and people are just not taught. And so these teachings are really, really important and valuable. And if you don't, then your body's going to look for its next best thing. And sometimes those things, as we said in previous our videos, where you're doing negative things with your body and your life force, because it is all about moving your life force in a healthy way. And most people are just not balanced and healed. So when you are healed, like myself, my life force is very balanced. As best that it can be with just myself, but I like to pleasure myself too, so that's fine. But it's just a lot more engaging when you have a beautiful partner that you can, bounce things off of, and have it be something very sacred and something that's kept between the two of you, and you can actually work with each other and your life force energy and help it be your manifestation and help work with your manifestations in those ways and just help, have fun with your bodies, that is very healthy and mature and responsible, not that's a kind of an underground closet thing. And that's where it gets into that hidden and suppressive, because there's always those vices you have to balance. And just knowing how to work with your body as you're going through such huge energetic changes. Those of you that are going to be readers, psychics, empaths, vibrational healers, and teachers like me, I have all my fields turned on. And sometimes my body goes through profound changes. Like last year, I lost like 30 pounds and I was like bones. And my clothes were all falling off me, and people were asking me, if I was sick. They're going, "Are you sick? You lost like so much weight just like in the last 10 days. But it's just like sometimes, depending on what I'm processing for the collective, my body just goes through those changes. It's like they say when babies are ready to start walking, they gain some weight, usually around 6 or 7 or 8 months, because they want to start walking. It's just that weight that helps them protect their bones. It's like that when you're a psychic and crystal child. And so this is where some children, they go through many eating disorders like I did when I was in high school, because nobody's teaching you how to, allow the energy to flow, to ground with the energy and be okay with these excited times where your body is just processing a lot of energy. It's doing what it can, but you got to be able to balance and, not be around certain things, like have, healthier food, be around those that understand energy, so that, you're not having those negative imprints of those people that are always judgmental, and don't honor all that you are going through your different changes, right? So just be aware that you can set those boundaries, and you can, fall in love with yourself no matter what you're looking like, because especially for women, right? Our bodies show everything. Our bodies show our beauty. Our bodies show, the best parts of ourselves. Our bodies show everything that we've been through with our children, right? Like if I've had a cesarean, I had 2 natural childbirths and then 1 cesarean, just because my child was breech. And so I have that scar, and so I'm always conscious of it. So I'm always doing like lots of crunches, and I'm doing lots of calisthenics and things like that. So I'm going to really, as soon as I get into a place of my own, I really want to start, a workout schedule, because I'm used to working out a lot and moving that energy. But since I haven't had my own space, it's just really hindered, what I can, how I'm processing energy. It's so important that we learn what I'm teaching. It's so important, because otherwise people do go to their vices. They go to porn, they go to things that are not healthy. And porn is not healthy. It's a disrespectful escape of not understanding your life force and not being one with your life force, and having that person that's with you that can help explore your body and help you process those energies. Because that's what you want. You want a loving partner that's going to be enjoying the ride with you, right? You enjoy their body and they can enjoy your body. And then just have those responsible conversations, so that you're both, liking each other's boundaries and exploring your boundaries within each other's boundaries, and just having that communication that's really open, so that the life force can do what the life force needs to do, right? Life force wants to move and flow and move freely, so that if it's not moving freely and you're having to hold anything back in any way, especially when you're making love, it should be making love anyways. We all know that we've had those situations where it hasn't been love. It's just been a fuck fest. And you don't really want those because it does. And anything, again, as we said, anything that you intend and why you intend and how you intend it will determine where you end up. And that is the energy of intention. And so, for women that are being impaled, and for the masculine that's impaling, it's important that you understand that beautiful perfection of flow and what that means to you from now on. Right? So there is a video that I have. It's called Self-Pleasuring. So go look at that self-pleasuring video. It's really got a lot of information there that I downloaded from the Pleiadians. We're helping us understand this 5D experience we're moving into. How does that affect how we see ourselves sexually? How does that affect how we want to move into this new arena of higher vibrational understanding of our life force? Those that are choosing to be celibate for a little bit, how do we go about, the self-pleasuring? Use source and spirit. As I said, I had a beautiful soulmate that was in the Pleiades, and he helped me a lot. He was my touch point, literally and figuratively. He was my touch point because I didn't know a lot of men on the planet. There was no men that I could see as a role model, and that really you're not supposed to tap into their energies anyways. If you're doing self-pleasuring, you really shouldn't be thinking about anybody on the planet when you're self-pleasuring, because unless they've given you permission to, because you are using their energy, and that's part of harvesting, right? So you want to be very respectful, not to pull in. But then again, if you watch porn, that's kind of the expectation, because that's just porn. They make porn so that people can jack off. But usually when you have those experiences, you want to self-pleasure, ask for permission on who you're thinking about. That's really getting you excited, because you have to have that permission, because it is using their life force. They can feel you. I know I've felt many people that have been using my life force when they shouldn't be. There's only one person that's allowed to use my life force, and I think they know who they are. And it changes, and if you disrespect it, then you don't get to use it anymore. You don't get to think about me in that way. It's all about respect, right? Because you manifest from intention, right? You want to manifest from positive intention. And plus my guides and my ancestors are watching everybody anyways. So anybody that's disrespectful with my life force, even though they know they're not supposed to, but the ones that don't care, and they do anyways, they should not be using my life force for their ejaculation pleasures, because they haven't been given permission. And then they're going to get karma with that. So there's one person that has permission. And then it's all about respect. So today we're going to talk about death process, life process, things like that in the ideas of consciousness. Oh, we wanted to go back just one thing. Because energies are picking up, I've gone through so many activations. I know that things are really amplifying, quickening. So just make sure you're grounding over the next little while. Grounding between now and the spring solstice. Spring equinox, it's going to be picking up energy really quickly because the timelines are collapsing. So all of those darker timelines that were kind of clogging, the energy and time space, if you will, it's going to be quickening because they've been pulled out and up, and they're going to be, arrests will be made, and they're going to be going where they're going to be going. And then those of us that are, on this new Earth star and the spiritual grids, we're going to notice a quickening. So you really have to focus on grounding in your daily activities, period, bar none. Grounding is so important. Those clients that I'm taking on and you're going to be experiencing, and we're going to be talking about and having sessions with, activating your multidimensional gifts, skills, and talents, your psychic abilities, all of those things we're going to be activating in our sessions. And then I'm going to be teaching you how to connect with your guides, what that looks like, what it feels like, getting you into these really good practices and getting you into really good daily self-care. It's like taking care of yourself every day. Using your journals and using your dream time as additional time to get understanding about who you are at the psyche level, understanding the darker traumas that we always go through that are hidden in dreams. So dream journaling is really important to know those deeper aspects of who you are. Your dreams also warn you about things that are coming up that you need to prepare for. So your dreams, well, I remember when I first started, I always had a separate dream journal, and I had my other journals for my communication with spirit. Your dreams, especially if you're somebody like myself, if you're more advanced and you're here to do a lot of energy work like myself, there's very few people that do as much energy work as I do in the various ways that I do energy work. So in the beginning, when I was having these really horrible dreams, I wouldn't go to sleep, and I would get myself in, of course, a negative, physical experience, because my body needed sleep. I was a new mom. And I wanted to be a really good mom for my kids, and we all know as new moms, you need sleep, right? And so, but those dreams are saying that, you're going to be coming up with some dark nights of the soul. And dark nights of the soul just don't always happen once. Dark nights of the soul are regular in your ascension's path work, so just know that. I don't know why there's an understanding that dark nights of the soul are only once or twice. No, dark nights of the soul are every ascension cycle. So I don't know who came up with those. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you. Um, and so just know that. So those dark nights of the soul, but it's up to you to start remembering and honoring how to work with those dark nights of the soul, how to use work with the energy and move the energy, ground in the energy, and then do the path work. The path work is where you learn how to be godly. Your path work is where you learn your consciousness. You know, like what did that wound tell you? What did that dream tell you? And if you want a dream session with me, then book a session and I can show you how to really maximize what's going on in your dreams. Your dreams do so much. So basically, what we're going to be getting to is understanding that 24/7, we're always with spirit and we're always growing in the path of higher consciousness. The dream time at night is just us still allowing our bodies to regenerate. A lot of the time we're up on light ships, regenerating our light body and all of the things that we're doing on light ships while we're sleeping. But our dream time helps us prepare. They warn us. Dreams will warn us. Dreams warn us about people that are doing things around us that we're meant to pay attention to. They warn us about things that are coming up that we're going to need to avoid. They help us with any, lots of things come through in your dreams about your health. So things to pay attention to, things to stop doing, things to start quitting, all of those things like that. So dreams are so pivotal to help guiding you around how your psyche communicates with you, how your soul communicates with you. And it's how your guides also communicate, your higher self, right? So if you know you're meant to you're quit something, sometimes it'll come through in a dream, right? Like we've had dreams where, you have your teeth falling out or your hair falling out. All of those things are health related. And so just know that your dreams are very important for also having that spiritual communication. Dreams are, as I get, there's nothing that's superfluous. Everything means something. And it's just a matter of you getting really rich with who you are as a multidimensional being and understanding that. And so what we kind of wanted to tie in with dreams as well is understanding the cross-dimensional movement of the body, the consciousness, and the psyche in and of itself. What does it really mean to have a death process? There's various explanations for that. And again, if you go out into the enlightenment actualization community, there's going to be lots of different explorations. I think if anybody really loves, a good series of books, Dr. Michael Newton, I read all of his books. I love his books. He's a wonderful man. He has a few. He's actually got quite a few people that have trained under him, doing hypnosis therapy for previous lifetimes, but we all know it's all now, right? So the therapy for, regression therapy. And I've read all of his books, and he was one of the first, authors that I read. I was so interested in all of these cross-connection timelines and how in one timeline you can have an experience in this timeline. It's bleeding through in this timeline because it was such a pivotal experience. And it doesn't matter what that experience is, you're always going to be picking up those energies, right? They're energies. The energies that might be sitting in your chakras as a wound or a story that might need to be pulled up. And sometimes they come to us first in dreams. They're preparing us for something really big that's approaching us, right? And sometimes the only time that spirit can get our attention is in our dreams, because if you're not meditating during the day and you're not connecting with your teams during the day, you're going to have a lot of those things come through in dream time that are warning you or giving you attention to things that you need to pay attention to. So dream journaling is going to be really important, especially if you're newly activating your gifts, your skills, and your talents, and then having that consistent communication with your teams. And this is what I hold my sessions for, is for you to start activating your soul's blueprint, your gifts, your skills, your talents, and then how to work with your teams on a regular basis. Just working with them and communicating with them, turn that up, turn that down. I'd like to work with this, I'd like to work with that. And this is just your daily practice, is your daily integration, right, as spirit. Right, so that's what I teach. I teach about how to know your bodies as light, as the Metatronic light system, as your Christ consciousness system. What does that mean for all of the other timelines, and how do these things kind of bleed through? Because they do. It's all energy. It's all moving from one aspect of yourself and your soul's actualization, because you might have actualized this timeline's experiences, although there's always things in our memory, if you will, which is not really in our brain. It's in our field, right? The memory sits within our field, and our brain is just the tool that pulls it, because there's no way that your brain could hold that multidimensional experience. Your brain is just a tool to read multidimensional experience. This is why your brain always has to be updated. So there's, in your fields, you might be self-actualized to this spiral of ascension cycle, right? You might have just cleared, a beautiful gift, and you're still working on your lower two chakras, because that's where most people are right now, is they're still working on their lower chakras. So you've just done some healing and you've just cleared. So you're working on this level of ascension. But you still have light that's touching this and this, and it's called cascading. That's what the teams have called it, the cascading light that they pour down, and it's also blessed through Gaia. But you're only working at this capability, and then you're slowly working up to clear and cleanse your body, and then reground it, and then integrate all their soul fragments. So in that integration, you might have something that keeps spiraling. Like I gave you that example where I was always finding something on the 6th of every month, and that was going in alignment with the crucifixion energies, with Jesus. And so once I healed that crucifixion, it took me many years. I was having dark nights. They were horrible. I had horrible dark nights of the soul, and it was like every month. And these dark nights of the soul would put me out for 4 or 5 days. It was just like constant crying and horrible. I would just remember horrible things and visions, and I mean, it was horrible. But I just had to get used to working because it was such dark energy, right? And I was also clearing for the collective. And so, but it's just getting used to working with that side of the shadow because there was so many lifetimes. I've got a lot of lifetimes. I mean, I've got 1,000 lifetimes. I'm very experienced. There's very few people that have as many lifetimes as I do, and working with the energies that I do. So of course, I'm going through a lot more dark nights of the soul than most people. Most of the people that I work with and most of the people that I've partnered with do not have as many lifetimes as I do. And sometimes that's what is meant by younger souls. They're younger, in soul age because they don't have near as many timelines as I do. But I also have to, give them far great gratitude because for their young souls to take on these powerful things that are going on Earth, my goodness, they're powerful souls. To jump in and put their sword and their mantle on to come into these beautiful times and say they're ready for the job. I mean, they're just profound souls. So I thank them for giving me the experiences that they have, because there's not many people that would do it, and this is why I've been single for so long, because, God had to find the right people that would be able to match my soul's depth, right? So I attract a very specific type of a person. They have to have the richness and the capability within their soul's experience, to assist me in my growth, because I'm going to go there. I don't shy away. I'm going to go there. This is probably my final Earth lifetime. And I have to have a soul that's going to be able to stand and walk with me. And that's been a challenge to find, because when they do have to go through the dark nights of the soul, they can go in a southern experience and choose to stay southern, which means that they're going to stay dark. They're going to choose to work in the darker realms, and they're going to choose to remain there because they couldn't do enough of the healing. They didn't face what they needed to face. And that's the experience with my ex and their cult. They've chosen to remain in those frequencies because of, again, as I said, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of misdiagnoses, a lot of misteachings, a lot of wrong information. So now what we have to do is we have to, give ourselves a better, jumping off point, and understand light in all that is creation. It's all light. They're just different variances of light and different experiences of light, right? The more healing that you do, you can move up the spiral and then start experiencing some of these where you're activating the oversoul light bodies, and those oversoul sheaths come in, and they really help you, like what I've been going through. I've gone through an oversoul sheath, which is speeding up my energy, and I keep getting all these breakouts around my neck and my chin and stuff, because there's just so much of the magic and things and the hexes that were thrown at my throat for 50 years. So I've just been like clearing and cleansing and clearing and cleansing. So hopefully I'll be able to get singing and toning next week. Really be giving my throat chakra a break. I'm really enjoying this water. I don't know if anybody has it where you are. This is a brand new water, and it's from Canada. It's called Vortex. It tastes really, really good. I like spring water, but this one has alkalites, electrolytes, and because my teams were mentioning that I needed some. So, and it's good to pay attention to what your teams are saying as far as water, because your body is going to be going through a lot of changes. So just check with your teams on, it's natural spring water, which was the best, is what they told me. So I was drinking that for a long time, natural spring water. And then they told me that I needed some electrolytes, because again, I don't really eat a lot, because my body's just been moving around so much. But I do love cheese and crackers and salty things. I don't know what that was. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that? The light. I don't know what the light just did. So anyways, so we're going to talk about that. So when it comes to energy and consciousness, We're going to channel some information from Mother, Father, God, and then we're going to take questions from you guys, okay? I'm in here from 12 till 2. I think. Destiny. Oh, so they want to say something about destiny hopping, which we've discussed before. Destiny hopping. Okay, they want to do a bit of a channel. Okay. Does everybody know what, in the dark occults, destiny swapping, do they know what that is? Destiny swapping is when people have done a slight bit of research, or they've heard through the grapevine that somebody is going to have, this is their timeline, because they've had infinite number of timelines, is being on the bottom part of the wheel, you know, being everybody's gopher and being everybody's slave, which is what I was. And now it's time for them to step up on a ring, because they've earned their initiations, they've earned their stripes, you know, they've done their healing, they've done the dodecahedron, everything that I teach. And so it's part of Source's benevolence and it's part of Source's benefit to say, you know, you've done the work, let's give you some, you know, some wonderful, you know, gifts and blessings, because you've earned it, right? And so, but there are those that live and die by their dark practices, and they think that they're refusing to ever go on the bottom part of the wheel. They don't ever want to be accountable. They don't ever want to face what they've done. So they will do whatever they can to swap souls, swap destinies, or swap the stories that that soul is supposed to have. And sometimes they can get some information from the spiritual realm, and it is passed down into the 3D realm. There are some people that can get into the Akash and read it. If they're doing so, then they're crossing all spiritual laws. So that is negative karma right there. If they use any of that information to go against the destiny or the health and the well-being of a soul, then that's another spiritual law they've broken. And these are top priority no-nos, because there's nothing more important than your experience through time and space with Mother Source, Creator, Mother, Father, God, and what you're here to do for the planet, because you're here to learn and expand upon and grow upon your soul's journey, your soul's progression. And if you're not meeting your destiny requirements, if you're not meeting your gifts, your skills, your talents, and your themes and your purposes of the lessons you're supposed to learn, then your soul's progression and all of your lineage, because you're attached to your lineage and your ancestry, then all that gets held behind. And then God's plan that God's going to use you for gets put behind. So it does create a bottleneck, which has been created. I have lots of shows about the bottleneck. I think it was Commander Ashtar that downloaded me the bottleneck. So there's a few videos on my Ascension playlist about the bottleneck and what that's all about. And it just creates a bunch of just energy that just gets piled up. And it does also happen in your body as well. If you're not cleansing and clearing, if you're not doing the daily practices, then the energy does get stuck, and it slows down your chakras. It slows the oscillation of your chakras. And we're meant to be flowing freely with Source Creator, right? It's like when this plug-in goes into the switchboard, we want to be fully switched into all aspects of Source. And so if we're not taught and told and shown, if we're not practicing, and if we're not reviewing it, if we're not doing the path work, and we're not processing and integrating, then we're not getting that full scope of who we are, what we are, and what we're here to do and become, and, you know, all of those things we get to move on. But the destiny swapping is meant, obviously, your soul's blueprint, as I talk about in all of my shows. Your soul's blueprint is between you. You play this representation, you play this character of the heavens. You're a representation of the heavens. And in this representation of the heavens, you're going to be going through a story and a theme of your own hero's journey. You're going to be playing the protagonist and the antagonist. You're going to get yourself in allowance of playing all of the archetypes, which is what the tarot kind of bases its symbologies off of, are the energies between the archetypes as you're learning and growing as a soul. And that's what the tarot does. It says, where am I at in my soul's evolution? Where am I at in my soul's progression? How can I use these archetypes that are brought forward in the tarot, and I can read my way into what is happening in the immediate now? The whole thing about the tarot is not to get stuck on it and obsessed with it. Just use it as a touch point tool, and just get used to yourself as using them as, you know, psychic tools that you can give yourselves permissions to tap into what's going on in energy. You're not supposed to use them and over abuse them, because then you're using it as a crutch and not tuning in with Source Creator, and you're not really trusting yourself just to go and have a great journey, right? Because if you are living in your highest and your best, and you do align with the universal laws, and you're clearing and cleansing, you should kind of know where energy is at without using those divination tools. You can just talk with Source. Where am I at right now? What do you want me to work on? What's the highest thing I need to act on today? And just have those conversations. But it's for those people that don't trust, they don't want to trust, they want it their way, they're trying to force the wheel. Those are the people that usually are addicted to, the 24/7, love readings and things like that, because they want to get inside the psyche. They want to get inside the person's destiny. They want to wear their skin, which people have actually said that on my live stream. They've actually said, I want to get inside your skin. And that's just the obsession they have with the celestial energy, the starseed energy. And I get that, but it's just kind of gross and weird, because you're the whole thing about choosing other people's destiny and trying to destiny swap and all of these things is they abuse dark occult energies to take on the souls and the energies of those timeline readings. And of course, it's the most illegal thing that you can do in spiritual laws and spiritual orders. But because they've earned so much negative karma, because they've done so much damage on the negative dark side, they use star seeds and light workers to play roulette with, so that our lives become, like mine was, devastated with nothing, and they steal your work. They do false POAs. They do false fabrications. The people that are being cut off from my energy and other lightworkers' energies, and they're being shown in the communities for who they are. There's the brain fog of all the black magic is starting to wear off, and people are starting to awaken to how people are truly behaving and how they've been manipulated and how they've been lied to, how they've been absolutely schemed and scammed out of a lot of their soul's progression experiences. And a lot of them have been fooled right into their path to hell. And some of them, unfortunately, they can't come out of what they've done. There's been so much damage and there's been death. I think about 4 years ago, when I was doing my, I was tapping into all of the stuff that was being done. I think Source says there was 8 people before me. I was supposed to be number 9, and they had sacrificed 8 other people before me. And this was just in the last 10 years. And so they do sacrifices on a regular basis, which is just premeditated murder. It's assassination plots, death plots. And this is what the cult in Calgary, the sex cult in Calgary, the escort cult in Calgary, I'm going to keep calling them out for what they do and how much they manipulate. Everything that these people touch is a false and fabricated form. If you look at all of their Revenue Canada forms, absolutely you can bet that there is undisclosed children that they're not accounting for. There is illegitimacy on many levels, because they do obviously share the sex energies, as well as diseases and things like that. And it's just a matter of the responsibilities and the applicabilities to follow the laws have not been there. And so sources relied on me to put the information out to show who these people truly are and what they have been doing behind the scenes and how dangerous they are when they're not choosing to heal and they refuse to let go of energy. Then they take on, like, the person that they've tried to destiny swap with. They actually think they're me. Sometimes they think that if I'm still alive, then and if I'm still here, then they're not in their highest and best. So they gauge a lot of their importance and a lot of their value on the person that they imprint. And they, it's like a duck, imprinting of a duck. And then it's also too, they showed me, as we talked about earlier, life force. Those people that use life force in that negative way, and they were doing a lot of sex orgies on my energy. They would have videos and they would do whatever they were doing. They showed me a little bit of things, but it was just too gross. They would visualize me and they would all have orgies together. The people that they were doing it with have come to, obviously, STDs, because that's part of their karma. But also many of them had distorted understandings of who they were. They had no sense of self because they were doing the sex orgy so much so. They were doing the black magic so much so. They were doing voodoo so much so. They were doing everything so much so on my energy that many of them have no idea who they were, and they started to take on, they thought, the consciousness of me, or they were starting to think that they were me or to act like me. And some of them, even from what I've heard, some of them even had facial reconstruction to look like me. And so it's a disturbed experience. They do all need to be mentally assessed. Because when you take on, when you change your body to look like somebody else, you know that there's something psychologically going on. You should only be wanting to be you and finding that sense of self and that sense of peace for you. Yes, we wish we had nice hair and all of those things. It's quite normal to have those fleeting moments and fleeting thoughts. But for you to be solid within who you are and actually go and pay money to get your face changed, which they probably even used in my stolen money that they stole from me, to do these things, the many, many crimes that were taking place in the last 50 years that nobody has found the accountability to come forward and do anything right and to bring back my birth records and to do what's meant to be done and give me my monies back. And all of the horrible things that were done, it will be known, because Source is going to bring out all these stories for the healing of humanity and for the stories of bringing humanity forward in higher perpetuation of what happens when you're not learning higher light wisdoms and intelligences, how people have abused and misunderstood the laws and the spiritual order laws, and the deities on our planet that have been used in the lower, middle, and upper realms, and how they've been abused, the abuse of power, the abuse of information, the abuse of technology in such systematic abuse, how it's been going on for eons and centuries and not dealing with the transgressions and the sexual regressions, and what really happens when you're malintending, when you're using of selfishness and greed, another person's energy source. It does actually affect your psyche. It affects who you are as a being. When you're thinking that every act that you do with intention, every word you say with intention, it's affecting your entire multidimensionality. So every intention that you do, it's affecting a stream and a thread of energy. If you're doing this for years and years at a time, most of these people are not mentally well. So yes, we can have sessions. I think you're probably listening. We can have sessions both in video and audio. So we can do video, but you'll have to just record it, and you can just record it by audio. So yeah, my sessions are usually, I like to do video sessions because there's been people that are claiming they're me and they're not. Nobody offers the energy that I do. And those that have been my clients forever, and those that have been my clients know that even when they talk to me on the phone in an introduction session, explaining to them what a session is like and how they feel and what the symptomologies are, they're very impressed with even the introduction, and they're already feeling changed just from my introduction phone call. And so nobody offers and nobody is who I am, and they don't offer the vastness. As I said, I'm about 1,000 lifetimes here, so I'm a very vast soul, and I know my energy, and I know what I'm doing with Source Creator. But there's people that like to do destiny swaps, and they think that they're still going to get away with doing these destiny swaps on me as I'm moving into this next realm. So Source wanted to talk about this. And what we have to be aware of, those that have been engaged in cults and covens of the negative sort, most of them are. Very few of them, there's like a handful of that positively practice good light energy and white witch energy. Most of them interfere with other people's lives, and therefore it's all negative karma. And we've talked about that till we're blue in the face, so we're just going to jump over that. But the destiny swapping that we really want to pay attention to, we really want to focus on, and that the Interpol investigations and the FBI and the new laws that we're going to make has to be very, very important, because they have been using and abusing children, and they've been using and abusing the children's starseeds, soul's destiny, so that they're cloaking themselves in the children's energy, so that when the police go and investigate and the Interpol go and investigate, they actually see them, and they can get the people. Like my ex, he can manipulate anybody because he knows how to wear people's energy. He knows how to cloak himself. And so he can seem as if he's like this innocent little child, and he'll say all the right things and he'll behave in a certain way. All of these people do, the witches and the warlocks, they behave as if they're children, because a lot of them do, a lot of them have activities with children they're not supposed to. They're involved in the underground black web, and they know how to abuse energy. And so they do this to get out of giving anything away in their psyche. This is why I said, we have to get my teachings up and going as soon as possible. We have to get it in the communities as soon as possible. We have to get it into the policing and into the higher order investigation units that want to work with Archangel Michael and be a part of the Legion's directive. I think they were going to call them the Sun Legions or something under Archangel Michael. Whatever your legions are going to be called, whatever you're going to call yourselves that work with Archangel Michael on higher order investigations. I got goosebumps everywhere. It's going to be a really big thing. We have to start teaching it right away, and just understand entity attachment, understand how these people behave and act, understand what it looks like for an entity attachment. For instance, last night, yesterday I was walking up the road to the bus stop, and there is a fellow that I know is homeless, and I know that he has entity attachments, and I've stopped and talked with him a couple times, and I was explaining to him what entity attachment are. He knew, but it was wreaking havoc on his other things that were mentally imbalanced, and I could tell he's just getting worse, because our energies are accelerating on the planet. And of course, because I know energy and I know what's going on I can read energy, and I can read certain things and what's going on inside the person, because Spirit is always constantly talking with me. And the person had given me information. He had given me permission to read him, right, because he was asking me questions. And so I'm understanding the whole bigger picture of it all. As we're ascending as the planet, we're getting bathed with higher light, and these people with mental illnesses that are not dealing with the entity attachments, which is the first course of action, is to deal with the entity attachments first. Then you can get a more clear understanding of where their mental capabilities are and what's really pulling them off on the mental instabilities. Because just to say that somebody's mentally unstable, whether looking at somebody as they're behaving in a certain way on the street, doesn't have anything to do with their mental capabilities as the core reason and consequence. They have entity attachments that are just trying to take over as much mental and physical energy. And so they do behave very erratically. And so they're misdiagnosed most of the time because most of the psychology, psychiatry don't understand entity attachments. And sometimes how these people behave is because the entities are becoming more and more aggressive. Because this person that I know, he is not a person that wants to go around and hurt people, but he does have an entity attachment, and it does change how he behaves. I could look at him and I said his entities are acting up again because he acts in certain ways when the entities are wanting the energy. And of course, he keeps himself very separate and alone. And he because he does have a good soul, but the entities that's attached to him, he's not working them out. So I keep helping him saying, you can get rid of those entities, but it's just part of that mental illness it's stigmatized. There's not many people that understand it. And when they're walking around and they're having their episodes, people just blanket it under, schizo. People just blanket it under this. It's not. You have to deal with the entity attachments first. Release the entity attachments first. And then you're going to get a more accurate understanding for the assessment. So I would suggest in this new way of New Earth Star, I would suggest doing entity attachment healings first, for 3 months. Just focus on entity attachments first for 3 months with the ancestors and with the angels and Mother, Father, God. And then in these entity releases, they're doing a lot of journaling, like where and why did the entity come? Where and why is the wound? And do the journaling, do the workup. Then, after they're feeling much better in their bodies and they're learning how to work with their bodies, then they go in for the mental assessment, because then they can have a more accurate understanding of what medicines and meds and follow-up therapies and things like that they're going to need. But first of all, do 3 months of just entity attachment and clearing and cleansing, because their fields are a mess. They've got dark demonic energies that are running around their field, and there's got breaks in their field. So I'm suggesting 3 months of just entity attachment and reworking back, trying to get the field back to a normal state, getting them grounded so they know how that feels in their body when they're grounded, because most of them don't. Most of them that have entity attachment have no idea what feeling grounded is, because they're used to chaotic energy. They're used to energy being all over the place. And especially if they're abusing their life force, it's a mess. So we're going to have to come up with ways in every city and every category. When these children are coming up from trafficking, we have to have a beautiful way of being aligned with the heavens, and having the heavens assist us in working up a proforma of having phases of 1, 2, and 3, depending on how serious it is. What are their symptomologies? How are they behaving on a regular basis, or is it just an outburst? So we have to come up with a scale of 1, 2, and 3 based on severity, and what are their also partnering parallel symptomologies, and how are they behaving? Because not everything is a mental illness. They might just have a few entities in their field that they haven't released. And these entities, along with the ascension energies, along with some imbalances, along with nobody talking to them, and the whole collective throwing them out the door, there's so much imbalances, there's so much misdiagnosis going on. And this is where a lot of the people that are on the street, they end up, going into drugs and committing suicide, because there's absolutely zero support, there's absolutely zero love and care, there's absolutely zero knowledge. Nobody's teaching what I'm teaching. And so we have to really raise our vibration about consciousness. What is consciousness in all of it of itself? And if you're not taking care of your fields, if you're not doing the healing and the cleansing, if you're not integrating your soul fragments, if you're not understanding your psyche wounds, then you can have, as we said, entities that will come in the breaks that are in your field. So it looks like this, right? It's all staticky. It looks like lightning. Right? It looks like lightning. And where there's a little break here, those entities can come up through that break, and they're called abrasions. They're called aura abrasions, and that's where those demonic energies come in, and then they get to the chakras, and that's really bad. The fellow that I know, he's got it in his chakras, and that's when it's upsetting. And he looks like he's trying to control the entity. Because I know, I see it. I see it all the time. Even people when they act and they behave and they say that they're official and like this, they're trying to hide a lot of what they do in the secret. I can tell they have entity attachments. I can see it. I can see it in their field. And they can lie and they can say, oh, no, they have a normal life and they're all in the church and things like that. I can see it. And this is what the beginning stages of STDs are. STDs are, you've given that permission. You've given the permission to a darker energy because you've intended something dark and you haven't held yourself. You haven't held your sexual life force. You haven't held the other person in high regard. That's usually when you find that there's imbalances in the sexual area. Whether it's STDs, you've given somebody an STD, or they've taken it on because they didn't say yes to that experience in a higher responsibility, in a higher love of self-love way. Like, yes, I'm going to share my body with you. I'm only going to share it with you under these conditions. And then you make sure that both of you are talking and having that higher responsibility so that you care about the body and the sharing of the life force. And you have those discussions first, but there's so many people, obviously, that don't. And destiny swapping is something like that because they've gotten to such a state where they're so imbalanced in so many different ways, not only in their sexual life force, but all the other things that they've allowed in their body. They've chosen to take that on, and they can choose to heal it. But instead, the only way that they think they have out is to do a destiny swap or to sacrifice, and it's not. Again, all of these things that people have been doing, they're wrong. Sometimes the energy that they are getting, the people in these cults and covens, sometimes the energy that they are getting is scrambled messages from the Akash because the spirit guides are tired of them abusing the laws and abusing the Akash and abusing the children that are innocent. And children are having their destinies taken away from them for the first 30 years, like mine. My destiny was taken away for 50 years. Like, who the fuck is it to anybody that they have a right to say? Nobody has a right to say anything about my life. Are you kidding me? But this cult and coven wanted me hidden because as soon as I get out there and I see and my energy gets activated, the collective gets activated because that's my role. I activate people, right? So once I start activating people, it's just a snowball effect. Everybody's activated. The light of the planet goes up. Light begets light. Light begets light. Love begets love, and then it's just a positive experience. But they wanted to keep me in this Truman Show experience where everybody was harvesting and using off of me, and they get what they want, but I live in enslavement. But that's okay. They're still going to throw assassins at me and come and get me whatever way they can, because how dare I have a life outside of them abusing me, right? And so this is how the destiny swaps go. In the destiny swap, they usually have a handler that watches and hovers and watches to make sure that that person is not going to wake up and reclaim their light. Usually if they've done a destiny swap, they've already looked into it and they already think or they know that that person has a higher order role that God will have them play. And they want the highest order people. They think that they're going to be from the lowest experience and they're going to climb in and they're going to hop right into somebody that's a high vibrational, 1,000 lifetime, and they've only been here 300 lifetimes. They don't know how to work with the energy because they haven't earned the consciousness, as we've talked about a million times before. It's their quantum science equations that don't ever balance and they don't ever work out. Someone that's had 300 years of a timeline on Earth, and they're taking on somebody that had 1,000. You cannot swap that because you don't have the consciousness. You don't have the consciousness A. You don't have the experience B. There's so many mismatches. This is just. But anyways, they don't care. They still do destiny swaps. There is much to take into consideration. Anybody that thinks that they can just take on somebody's destiny, God is God. Obviously, all creation and all life is Source creator. Source knows what Source is doing on every level of creation, from the insects all the way up to Jupiter. So for any low vibrational 3D cult or coven, warlock or witch or voodooist, whatever they want to call themselves, it doesn't matter their titles that they think they're going by. Any one of these 3D lower vibration unhealed people that have no sense of self, that are not mentally balanced, that are going to do destiny swapping, think that they know better and know more of God, of somebody's soul blueprint, of what's in their DNA, of what their life has. When these people are again so sick and imbalanced and not well, think that they're going to play the part of somebody that has a beautiful soul's planet, a beautiful soul's destiny because they've earned it. Because 100 other lifetimes before, you've screwed them before, and you screwed them before, and you screwed them before. And this is the timeline where they actually get up and they make something of themselves. And they actually call in their light, and they reclaim their power, and they reclaim all of the deeds that these people just follow them from timeline to timeline, taking from them and stealing from them. And this is what my ex was involved with. My ex has been following me like a slug every timeline. And every timeline, they do this. They swap destinies, they do spell work, they leave me with nothing, and they took off with my money. And so every timeline, this was the timeline, they said, no, I actually get to receive and I actually get to experience what I've earned. I've earned it. And these people have done this to me timeline after timeline after timeline. And most of the timelines, they've killed me because I'd never awoken to my full spiritual power, but now that I am. And these people are nothing compared to the strength of what I am as my spiritual power. I've never used my spiritual power as of yet. I haven't pulled out my wand. I mean, if we want to talk magic, I haven't pulled out my wand once. And there's been hundreds against me. I'm unblemished. Right? I'm at a world leader state, and these are cults and covens that assassin people. That's how they get paid. They get paid by elites. They get paid by people that don't know what they're doing, and they're taking their entire lineage and their ancestry. As we talked about, this is important because the people that are going to continue to do these things, they're absolutely agreeing that they are taking their lineage out of ever having a soul incarnation ever again. They're not going to come into a body. And is that okay with you? Are you okay with that? Or are you going to be smart enough to stand up and go to the authorities and give them your story of confession, give them a story of what's been going on, give them the evidence of what's been going on, and get your karma cleared? Because if you're showing that you're with pure intent, you're going to do that, and you're coming out of this destiny swap experience, you're coming out of the sacrificing experience. I think, how many times did they try to sacrifice me, Spirit? We're up to close to 65 times they've tried to sacrifice me. And I'd have people stalk me and spy on me every day. They've recently tried a destiny swap because they know that I'm going to be blessed soon, and they want to slide into the blessings. And they're all blocked. They cannot touch my energy. They cannot touch my light. This is Source Creator has put up. There's vibrational rings around me. Along with my aura, there are vibrational rings that will protect. That are protecting me and my chakras and protecting my timelines. There's extra beings on this because these people have been so egregious. They don't care. Whoever these people are going to, whoever is telling these people that these things can be done, it's absolutely misinformation, misknowledge, and everybody involved will never come into form again. And they have also taken that opportunity from their children and their ancestry and their species. Because some of these people, especially in this timeline, at this important part of this timeline for ascension, we're going from 3D to 5D. Many of these species had only come back for this timeline to work their way back into the Christ consciousness so that their species could continue. See, this is, again, the world leaders that have got their people behind the 8 ball. If you don't have somebody like myself, like Lee Carroll, coming and telling the world about truths about the soul's progression and what energy and what God and Source really is, and you don't come forward with these truths, you're putting a whole collective of people, as the video that came out the other day, these people had spoken, had relayed, had defamed, had just put out mush information that was absolutely wrong and incorrect, and people from all around the world were attacking me and getting involved and getting their lineages involved and their ancestors involved and getting their species involved on attacking me in a spiritual war that only brought each and every one of them great detriment, and some of them may never ever come back. All from groups and covens, and the shadow government was absolutely responsible, and if they try and take themselves out of that responsibility, that's bull. Because the only people that knew everything about me from the time of my birth was the shadow government. The cults and covens didn't know anything about my birth. They didn't know anything about it. The shadow government did. The shadow government was paying the cults and covens to attack me. Not all the time. And then these cults and covens just got so obsessed with my energy, they just kept going with it. So I want my birth records. The cults and covens, my ex had no idea about my birth records. My ex didn't have any clue about any of that. He was told those things. He was sold those things. He was manipulated. I told the lawyers at the first initiation of the divorce, he needs an assessment because Spirit showed me there was early onset Alzheimer's, that he refused to get checked. He refused to heed Spirit's warnings. And it was in the legal write-ups, and the lawyers didn't do anything. And so, of course, you combine that with black magic and voodoo. It's dangerous. I've done my due diligence. Every single day I come on here. This is what I'm given as truths. It's not my problem if people outside don't want to believe it. Believe whatever you want to believe. Your box store beliefs are your box store beliefs. Get over it. I'm here to speak what I'm supposed to speak. I'm going to speak source. I'm a mesh with source. I speak spirit. I know spirit. I speak planetary alignments. I speak galactic assignments. This is what I do. It's not my fault, however anybody in their consciousness takes it. This is my job. I'm the mirror for God. I'm the mirror for creation. And this is truth. Go to the table and work it out on whatever your beliefs are. I'm not responsible for your beliefs. You are. If I'm told that there's a shadow on your brain, go get assessed. I told you 800 times. And plus, along with all of your black magic, of course, now what? Then what? You want to play darkness, then what? You've got darkness, darkness, darkness. And again, any child that is touched, you're going to have even more darkness and you're never coming out. We need to teach what I'm teaching immediately because the children need to be protected. They are not deserving to be in houses with black narcissistic sociopaths, black warlocks, black voodooists, black witches and warlocks, whatever they want to call themselves, it doesn't matter. Because they just don't want to sit down and do the work. They don't want to face who they are. They don't want to face what they've done. And people from all around the world did exactly what they did. And now they have themselves against the 8-ball. All of them. 250 people have themselves against the 8-ball. Because they all took lies. They took those lies verbatim without even picking up the phone and checking with me on what my version of the story was. None of them knew me. None of them watched 10 or 12 or 20 videos in a row to see who I was as a person, to go and listen to my radio shows as a person. Nobody took the time. Therefore, then you deserve to be behind the 8-ball because you didn't do your due diligence before you threw death magic at me. You're going to get your death magic back. I'm not going to be touched. I am far more important to the multiverse than your tiny ass little coven. Sorry, it's just truth. It's truth. And if that upsets you, then that's where you begin. Because you've got entities, you've got no sense of self, and you've got wounding that's about 8 years too late of getting healed. Now what? So you did all your dark magic, you did all your Satanism, you did all your Luciferian, you did all your destiny swapping. Now what? You're in the same position you were 8 years ago. Then what? So you can keep doing the infinity and keep doing the infinity and keep doing the infinity. Or you can just get off the fucking wheel and actually get healed. Because you're going to keep running into what you're going to keep running into. Why? Because it can be no different if that's all you intend. Intention is where you're going to be. So if all you do is rape, take, and steal, and take people out of their destiny, you're absolutely going to be sure that your destiny isn't going to be anything but mud. And we keep telling you all this. Any occult people that are doing destiny swaps, you better watch your back. Because you're going to get karma, 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 karma. Nowhere on this planet would anybody have ever said, if you ever asked your higher self, if you actually tuned into higher source, if you actually tuned into spirit, if you actually tuned into the heavens, there's no people, there's no guides, there's no nothing that would ever say in a billion effing evers, go and take somebody's destiny because you want to have a selfish period. You want to be black. You want to be back on the North Star. You want to be back on the top of the wheel. You want to keep being the top of the wheel for your entire lifetime, for every lifetime you ever come on earth, because that's how selfish you are, because that's how no sense of self you are. You're gauging yourself against everybody else's successes because all you care about is being successful because it's a status thing. You don't know who you are. No sense of self. And you're going to be in jail for the rest of your lives because that's how long it takes for you to look at yourself. Because you refuse to. It's going to come back to the same thing. Do the infinity, it's going to come back to the same thing. And whether you're a world leader and you're doing false ass agendas, it's going to come back to the same thing. What is your intention? Is your intention to rape, steal, and own, to manipulate, to move, to take over, to be better than, to be all the jealousy and the things that are happening? You're not meant to be me, people. You're not meant to be me. You're meant to be you. So go in and find who you are. Go and do the inner work. This has to be taught on the planet immediately so that the children can start being who they are and never ever look to outer, to who they're going to be and how the outer can affect who they are. No, they're going to reclaim their light. They're going to reclaim all their power, and they're going to work with their light every day so that the people that they are in the house or the community of that are negative and dark and they want to keep working that way, then at least their chakras and their souls and their destinies are going to be saved so they don't have to look like they're going in bad luck for 30 years or going into drugs and alcohol, because you can't go through that much karma and think that it's not you. I shouldn't be here. And why there's a lot of people on the street, because a lot of these cults and covens and warped ass Masons and satanic and Luciferians have been running the planet, and they've been running the cities, and so many people have been swapped out of their destinies, they've been swapped out of their souls, and they don't understand why they've hit so many years and so many years and so many years while they're being a good person, they're doing their due diligence, they're being good to unto others, and they're helping people out when they can, and yet they're still sitting on the fucking street. Now you tell me, people of the earth, people of the continent, you tell me that's fucking fair. It ain't fucking fair. And I'm going to stand up for it. Every cult and coven, I'm going to be on your back, and I'm going to see you in the courts, because I'm going to help make up the laws, and I'm going to help put you behind bars. Because anybody that thinks I'm going to take somebody else's destiny and I'm going to make it mine, because you have no sense of self, because you have no energy within yourself to think that you're only living from jealousy and envy and greed and gluttony, and all you care about is being the best for 5 minutes and being the best for 5 minutes out of somebody else's loss. What do you think's going to happen to you, genius? Do the infinity. Do the math. Anybody that does a destiny swap, you're going to get immediate karma. You touch a child's life, you touch a starseed's life, you're going to get immediate karma. You are jeopardizing your ancestors and your entire species, and you're not going to come back into form. Period. And it goes the same for trafficking. It goes the same for RICO. It goes the same for selling your women back and forth. And it goes the same for any person in their religion that they hide behind, which is BS, and this is why religions need to be put aside. Because if you say you're higher order, and if you say you're all godly, what gives anybody the right to go and put their wife on fire because she makes a video about her expression? Who does that? The Middle East? Who does that? People that are from the Middle East that have said that this is their religion and this is what some of their beliefs are. Not all people from the Middle East, obviously. Sexual mutilation. Who says that? These are things that people hide behind their religion to say it's okay for me to brutalize somebody else. This is what our religion, this is what we believe. There's been many men, misogynistic, satanistic, that they practice these things about self-hate of themselves. They go through many humiliation rituals. They go many through hate rituals. They have to actually go through rituals where they hurt people and even kill people and then exploit it and then laugh at their suffering. This is what some people do to get in some of these cults. They actually put their hand up and say, I want to be a part of this. Why would you ever want to be a part of that? Shouldn't you go get assessed? Isn't that a first clue? Shouldn't you get assessed when you say, I want to go hurt somebody? Isn't that a sign for assessment? And yet these people have got away with 4 or 5 POAs on me because they think that I'm insane. Because I'm calling you out for all your dark-ass crimes. All the investigators have to do is do a financial audit on every single one of these people in the crimes. All of them. Do a financial audit. And then you pull up their Revenue Canada, and then you see what they've claimed as far as children, and then you see what they've claimed as far as income. And you're going to find perjury. And then you go to the court cases, and then you go to the insurance, and then you go to the funeral homes. And then you see how many people have they been claiming on insurance, how many people have been claimed on insurance, and is it the same person? And how many of them in the little Masonic group are all collecting insurance off people they don't even know, like me? Why would anybody have an insurance form on me? I live as a hermit with Source. I don't even live in the same province with any of these people. I don't know any of these people. Why would anybody have my name on an insurance form? It's false. It's corrupt. It's fraud. Anything out in the collective that has my name on it besides my divorce is false. It's fraudulent. I've signed nothing with nobody. My work is my work. Nobody touches it. Nobody is it. Nobody can be it. Nobody can be me. I'm 1,000 years as a soul, and I'm integrating. I'm one of the highest women on the earth for being an integrated soul. I'm even one of the highest men and women. My ranking is very high in the spiritual realm and here. And I get to say that because I've earned it, and I'm okay with saying it because I'm going to bring Divine Feminine up, and I'm going to bring the star seeds into new interpretations of who we are, what we are, and stay out of our light. Because we're here for the entire multiverse. Not just your selfish, warped-ass Masonic life where you want to live a rich life, but you do absolutely nothing to contribute to it. And those times are stopped because these people and these cults and covens and these arrogant ways and these arrogant misogynies and these arrogant, you haven't done anything to improve your intelligence. All you're doing is just living a rich life off corrupting people. And it's not going to be anymore. June 30th, it's all being pulled, and you can see it right now. All the demons and all the entities are out in the streets going a little crazy because all of their light has been cut off. And they don't know what else to do because they're not being taught how to heal. And then the police and everybody around them, they're either not dealing with it because now it's too out of control. They're not dealing with it because there's too much in the police station that they didn't do their checks and balances. How could it have gone so far? Why didn't they do it this? Why didn't they deal with it sooner? There are so many things going wrong that now everybody is going to get their karma on how it shall unfold. And as Source said, you're chosen to take yourself to those places, all of you. The city chose what they chose. I placed three reports with the police department. They have 3 reports on exactly what I've said from day one. There's systematic abuse. These people are stealing from me, and they do magic every day on people, and they've taken people out through sacrificing. They steal and they do crimes. That's what I've said, and there's reports at the police station that are this. I was also told that 2 people from the police station were paid as a part of the cult from my ex, and they were paid. Now, whether they're still there or not, I don't know. There was a lot of people in the official experiences, 45 to 250, that all got paid, that all got money for the systematic abuses and being a part of the destiny swapping. And many of them made a ton of money off my energy in the destiny swap because they all were making a lot of money and a lot of light off my energy. I am here to feed the entire collective, not little disgusting, warped, degrading, ignorant cults and covens that are living life from the abhorrence of wrong information. And they have absolutely affected their species. They will never come back into form, and they've affected their lineage and their children. So as long as you know that's okay, then carry on, dark people. Carry on. Go do dark all you want. You're going to be moved off the next timeline cycle, just like the Epstein Earth, and you're going to keep going to Epstein Earth. You're going to keep going to Epstein Earth because that's what you chose. You chose, you chose, you chose. My ex and everybody he's involved with, you chose. Unless you go to the authorities and you're going to give your confessions and you're going to say exactly who was directing you, exactly how much you got paid, and show the proof. And the city and the officials and the FBI and the CIA and the Interpol, you're all going to sit down and you're all going to work this out. Because what has happened on my case, you're going to see how many checks and balances were missed, how many checks and balances were consistently missed on a consistent basis. And then you're going to go to each city and you're going to go to each precinct and you're going to say, this will never happen again. And if it does, every single one of you will be on suspension, all of you. And we're just going to hire a whole bunch of new people that have their alignment with spirit first. So how it's going to be from now on. That's my word. We're going to create new systems, and we're going to create people that are passionate about reading energy and doing it right the first time. Not by watching and turning a blind eye and knowing that somebody's getting abused so horribly. So horribly. My ex and the cult and coven and everybody before them, because this has been going on for 50 years. The cults and covens and the witches and the warlocks and the shadow governments and everybody involved handling me. There has only been 3 years of my life where I've not been touched and handled and abused and sabotaged and set up and assassinated. I shouldn't be here. Source had to put me together 4 times. That's how much shit has been impaled on my body and my mind and my soul. All because these people have wrong information about destiny swaps. They have wrong information about who they are. They're not doing the work. They don't care. There is a plethora of wrong misguidance of cults and covens and the overriding and abuse of energy, period. It's abuse of energy. That's what it is. You're either negative energy, neutral energy, or positive. And people are going to the negative energy because they know how to manipulate it. They know how to get away from all of the things they've been getting away with. And the victims and all of the innocent people suffer. It's affecting the city. It's affecting the disease control. It's affecting the oceans and the water. It's affecting the children that don't want to come here anymore. It's affecting progression on the planet on all levels. The abuse of magic, the abuse of spiritual laws, the absolutely unwillingness and unknowing on every level on church and state, and the damages church and state have done, and the zero accountability church and state have done. And the corrupt leadership of church and state wanting to continue such programs, like putting out bills for the suppression of expression. And you absolutely know the karma that you're going to get if you choose to go forward with these bills. I'm calling it. So then you've been warned. This is how it's going to be. We are going into 5D light. Your broke agendas of low vibrational 3D corruption is not going to make it in 5D light, and that will just be seen. Because 5D light will going to show. The 5D light is going to bathe and mark, and it's going to show everything that's not light. If you're not a match of that 5D light, you're going to see it. A seer and a sayer is just coming through and saying, I see what I see, I see what I say. So is the light. It's going to show you. That's what light does. It shows you. It's called intelligence. How about you get there? How about you do your healing? Because you're on the planet. It's your responsibility. You're responsible for your vibration. You're responsible for your soul's experience. What are you going to do about it? But there's been so many people, a huge percentage of people in the collective cities, in the collective cults and covens, they've been running the city and they've been tormenting a lot of people. And a lot of people have been taken out unnecessarily. A lot of people have had no destinies because of these people. And they're going to get karma. And they're going to keep getting it. They're going to keep getting it. They're going to keep getting it. They're going to keep getting it until everything I have to say about it. They're going to keep getting your karma until you wake up. Do right, people. You don't have a right to take anybody else's life because you're selfish, because you're not healed. That's exactly what it comes down to. So, as I said, all world leaders all over the world, it doesn't matter what you are, it doesn't matter your beliefs, it doesn't matter your robe you wear or your bars on your chest. It doesn't matter all the little things. If you abuse energy and the universal laws, you will get karma. You are watched. Everybody is watched at this point in time to see who's going to go through the gates and who won't. You are no longer, it is a no tolerance on community, cult, and coven secret society bullying and underground mafia violence. It's a no tolerance to the light workers, starseeds, and those of us like myself that are here to lead humanity into higher vibrational ways, and who I am throughout all heavens will be shown and proven only by source. Because I don't owe anybody anything. There should be nothing in the collective with my name on it besides the inheritance that I'm owed and my birth records that I'm owed. And the monies that were stolen and raped and taken from me because of these cults and covens that were making a lot of money and harvesting from the entertainment field of those that were doing it. And so far, nobody's come forward to make it right. So you know the address of my bank, send the money there. You know the address of my PayPal, send it there. Otherwise, you're going to be pulled into your karma, and then you have to sort it out with your ancestors and your lineage. Because the destiny swaps are one of the number one highest corrupt law that you can ever go against in the spiritual realm. And all of you have. You have no right to touch another person's destiny or their light or the energy that they've earned after 1,000 lifetimes. You stay here and you go through 1,000 lifetimes. And then you tell me how happy you're going to be and how much of a smile is on your face when you have 1,000 of your lifetimes just ripped out from underneath you because 200 witches and warlocks think that they believe in the lies that they were told and believing in the shadow government BS that they've been told, and they're going to take your destiny while you sit on the fucking streets. Now you tell me the fairness of that, because that's coming to you your next lifetime. Guarantee it. That's your next lifetime. If you think there's nothing to say about that. So anybody that's so quick to put a comment down and everybody that's so quick to make their statements heard, you don't know anything about anything. You don't have any right to make a statement about anybody else's life when you haven't lived a day in their shoes. You haven't lived an hour in their shoes, and you probably couldn't. For any of these people, up to 250, to rip somebody's master, a master. I am a master with Jesus. I'm a master with Lord Sananda. For anybody to come out and rip my life from out underneath me for 1,000 lifetimes and just laugh about it and exploit me on the black web and do the horrible things that have been done to me. This is how demonic these people are. And for all of you to do it and then to make any type of comment and any type of notes on me at all, you're going to get karma. Because you deserve it. You have no respect for life on any level. You have no respect for somebody that comes forward and teaches free every day your life. And if you didn't like the channel, why are you still here? I come forward and I teach and I give energy every day. I give you direction every day and nobody pays me. Why not? But you're all stealing from me. So you can't say that I'm garbage. You can't say that what I'm saying is not true. You can't say that I'm not a real psychic. You can't say that my work is nothing because you all steal from me. I'll see you in high court. And in high court, each and every one of you will be guilty with multiple life sentences because I'm going to wrap each and every one of your lies. I'm going to wrap each and every one of you thing. I pierce through your soul and I will see exactly what you've done. I'm going to call you on it. I'm going to call you on it, cults and covens. I see exactly every act and every task that you've done. I've seen you dancing in the forest. I've seen you dancing on graves. I see the crap that you put in people's drinks. I'm going to call you on it. And I'm going to get specific with days and times. So you better bring your memory, which most of you don't have. You don't know the night you went out to the bar and you were trying to find somebody that was rich and wealthy, and you were trying to find somebody that you can date and somebody else you can bring into your mess. Because you need somebody to take the fall for one of your last crimes. You need to have a video made that's going to look like somebody like me. Well, I have tattoos on my body, so how do you do that? You don't know my tattoos. So put up your fake videos all you want. I have specific markings on me that are celestial and ET. So put that in court. I'll wrap circles around you in high court. All of you will be guilty. All of you. Right up to the highest shadow government. I know exactly what's in the collective with my name on it. God's going to show me, and God's going to show all of you. The only thing I've signed is divorce. What else you got? What else you got? Insurance forms? By who? In what way? Why would that? Why would the cult and coven that's trying to assassinate me, why would they be benefited from an insurance claim that I have nothing to do with? I've never seen, don't even know these people. Wouldn't that make sense? Wouldn't the checks and the balances and the cross connections at the insurance company and the banks and the funeral homes, wouldn't all of these people have the cross connecting checks and balances and the King's Court? Or you just say the entire city is corrupt. There's nobody that is doing their due diligence in the city of Calgary. Is that fair to say? What was that? At this point, yes. Somehow, some way, they're all benefiting. So do the financial audit? Who is getting paid and by whom and by how and by when? And I'm sitting on the street. All of you are going to be found guilty. Multiple life sentences accomplice. All of you. What? So they're saying they're just saying some of them have gone and had confessions. Some of them it's actually told because they don't think that it's fair that all of the abuse that I've taken. Of course it's not fair. Like who would think doing what has been done to me? Who in any right mind there is no right mind. What's been done to me has been horrible, cruel and unusual treatment. Cruel and unusual. And there will be extra time added because it's been so cruel and unusual. And every time I call it out and these people are not getting arrested, it's even more dangerous for the community that these people are still out walking around. Because now that they don't have any light, they're not feeding off of anybody, they're going to go do a destiny swap with a young child. So you tell me, Calgary police, and all of the police and all the investigators and all the country leaders, you tell me, are you being proactive? Because I've been talking about this stuff for 6 years. Go back to my videos, do your research. They've got themselves in a pickle. And who's going to be a benefit and who's going to be at fault? Nobody's going to be benefiting. There will be no benefit out of any of this. So at what point, YouTube corruption, is my platform going to be opened up and shared with the all? The collective needs to understand our chakra systems, our multidimensionality. Our collective needs to know who we are as source, what we are existing within, and what is existing within us as source, the God seed cell. We need to activate our light body through healing and compassion and forgiveness through the 3 A's, which is the 4th A of alchemy. It's the only way to go about this path. There is no other way through. And those that have been doing the egregious, you will not go through. You will be stopped at every level and you will go to the mud realms. Satan and Lucifer are now working for me. And they're going to get the souls that God says go get the souls. Because you didn't understand the rules and the spiritual laws. You were just believing what you were told by any cult and coven master. So now you got to go talk with them. And why would you give your power away to somebody you don't know? You'd put your hand up to say, "Oh, I'll go hurt that person, then I'll videotape and I'll make it real great. I'll be the best sadist. I'll be the best masochist you can ever find." Okay, if that's your story and your compass, bye. You're going out to Epstein Earth. See ya. Because you don't care. Why would we give you another body? Why would God bless you with another body? Why would God bless you with another family? Why would God bless you with another lifetime if you don't give a crap? You're not getting through the gates. It is that easy. Bye. Destiny swaps are illegal, and there will be laws. You don't touch anybody spiritually, mentally, emotionally, figuratively, financially. You don't touch them. Leave people alone. And if all you do is dark occult manipulation, you will be called down. Day by day, by day by day, the ancestors are showing God, and God is seeing, and you're the next on the list. You're the next on the list. You're the next on the list. Because everybody has been told, and it's not rocket science, do unto others. Stay out of people's lanes. Stay out of people's backyards. Stay out of people's countries. Because then we can really truly determine who is running the country. And when there are things that go mal or wrong, then it's up to the legions, and we can see things back and forth and upside down and inside out, what the consequences are for each country. And that might mean to have their water dry up. And that might mean to have their monies dry up. And that might mean for all their contracts to fall through because you're just not getting it. It's not about your selfish agenda. This is a collective unity consciousness where the heart of the collective has spoken. The leaders on the planets have refused to heed. The leaders on the planets have refused to release their power, release their gluttony, and release the monies that are due to the people. They have refused. Therefore, thus then, the federations and Mother, Father, God will step in. That's our jurisdiction. That's our ranking. Take it up with God, as many of you have, and therefore, thus then, there's your karma. Because you don't run the show. You don't have the destinies of each person on the planet, do you? You don't even know your destiny. So how do you have any say over somebody who's been here 1,000 times? Again, ignorance. Not getting it, people. Why you cannot fake consciousness. Consciousness is earned. So any of you that think that you're more powerful than me and that you can wear my 1,000-year consciousness and you can wear my template, stand before me. Any of you stand before me and prove it to me. Prove to me that you can wear my 1,000-year template. Prove it. Go heal somebody. I want you to prove it. Prove that you can wear my 1,000-year template. Prove it. You know what they just said? Do you want to hear what they just said? No, they just want to use me. They just want to use me to get what they want to get. And so you're done. You're moving. You're going away. There's no more tolerance. You cannot take any more people. You cannot take any more souls. You cannot ruin the city any longer. You cannot bring any more darkness to what you have already done. There has been zero making right on my life. There's been zero monies returned. There's been zero apologies. And even though I don't even need it, I don't want it. Go to the police and say your confessions because each and every one of you are on the line. And if your soul's progression is not that important, maybe your children's is. And if you say you love your children, which most of you say those things because you like to manipulate, you like to play all righteous in the community, but you're not. Because the things you do in the dark and the things that you do with your occult practices is absolutely hogwash. You don't give a crap about anybody except walking away free because you don't want to go to jail. That's where you're going. It doesn't matter whether it's a mental jail because you've done so many false POAs on me. That's the only outcome. So good luck on you. Anybody that has tried to enforce a false POA while I haven't even been interviewed, there's no reason. There's no reasonable cause. I've been healthy. I haven't seen a doctor in like over 6.5 years. There is no reasonable cause. These people are fake as fuck. And they're trying to put anybody under a false entitlement clause of being insane so they can get their inheritance. They can still have them under harvesting location, and they can have them under so much suppression that all of they're going to be doing is just harvesting and sucking the life out of and keep having the luxury life that they're having off other people's monies, off of other people's work, off other people's intentions. That's what these people do. And the city has sat by, and the city has watched it, and the city has known about it, and the city has done nothing. And the city is behind the 8 ball. So if there's any injuries, if these people have any more outbursts and danger to anybody that is innocent, the city will be held liable, and they will be sued. They will be sued, they will be sued, they will be sued until there's nothing left to sue. YouTube will be sued until there's nothing left to sue. If there is any further damage or injury to anybody because of these games that these people continue to play, and you just sit by and watch because the evidence keeps mounting, because there has been no checks and balances, and because it's blatant in the collected I said, for years and years and years, I've signed nothing. There shouldn't be one piece of paper with my name on it, except for new contracts coming in because God's blessing me left, right, and center, because I deserve it. All of you are liars that have said anything different. You don't know crap. Go look at my phone records. I talk to nobody. None of you have ever talked to me before. You don't know crap from anything. These are bullies. These are people that go looking for people to destroy. They go looking for people with a kosh. They go looking for people with a starseed. They go looking for people with light, and they will destroy you inside and out. And they will keep paying minions to stalk you. They will pay minions to go bother your work people. They will pay minions to hack into your computer. These people are vile at the highest level of degree because they will destroy anybody's life without a 0 ounce of consciousness. They don't care. And this is, as I said, for the world leaders. You are liable for what you have manifested because some of you are in shadow government paying these people and you weaponize them. And I'm asking Interpol, I'm asking the FBI, I'm asking the CIA. These have to be investigated at this level because there is so much negligence and it is dangerous to put an entire city and country and province at harm's way because of the ignorance of secret societies not having information about what's truly going on. And it's just a big greed fest. And black web zit. And I say again, then what? The only way for all of you to know your outcome, if you've done dark, your only outcome can be dark because you've done nothing to make it better. If you're not redeeming yourself by making it right and returning the monies, and you're not going to the authorities to tell truth, because truth clears your chakras, truth clears your conscience. And if you're not telling truth, what are you doing? You're hiding and you're running. Then your karma will be. And that is law. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Was there anything you wanted me to say in benefit of, in addition to? They're saying that there is a grand global persuasion away from businesses and groups and leaders using cults and covens. They're running out of money because people and businesses are pulling out. They're not using them anymore. This is at a global scale. So this is the work that I have done, talking about this for 6 years straight, nonstop every day, and posting about it every day. I'm proud of the light work that I brought. Because this would have never been seen if I had not spoken up and talked and had the rights and the freedoms to my expression on what's been going on with my life and the crimes and the negligence going on and the abuse of power. The freedom of expression is important and valuable for this planet to either go into entropy and taken out in 5 years or not going into entropy and being healed and moving into eternal life. Which one do you want? Freedom of expression and healing and eternal life? Sounds like kind of an option, doesn't it? Or you go to Epstein. You get to choose. So the world leaders and these businesses that have been previously heretofore using cults and covens as their little dark minions to take out business and to take out assassins and to make sure anybody that's making trouble and making snuff and making their shirts all wrinkled, that these people get taken care of, which is what I was. Somebody had to take care of me. Little did they know and little were they aware. I don't need handling. I don't need anybody taking care of me. While they have orgy parties living off my money and I'm sleeping on the street. They're saying it's not going to happen again. This has set a precedent across the planet of the tremendously horrible abuses on one person that was set forth by many that knew what was going on and did nothing. And they have to set this right in their consciousness for them to continue in their soul's progression. They have to balance out their consciousness. They have to balance out their soul's progression. They have to understand how the soul's progression goes for your species, for your lineage and ancestors. These are actual things. You don't just get born into another life, next lifetime. You just don't get born. And it doesn't matter what you think your religion says. No. This is how it actually goes. There is no more 3D timelines in this universe, period. Next. And anybody that thinks burning their wife or stoning them or genitally mutilation is okay, it's not. You're all hiding behind what you call is your religion, and it's not. It's sadism, it's masochism. You do that to God's life. You do that to God's sacred life. I'll see you in the highest courts. All of you, I'll see you in the highest courts. and you take your hate and you come to the highest courts, and we will see how godly you are. We will see how it's ever said that this is how you treat God's life. Because your next lifetime, you're going to be a divine feminine. Your next lifetime, you're going to be exactly with somebody just like that. And then what? This is where we say, and then what? Then what are you going to do with your abuse of power? Then what are you going to do with your misogyny? And then what are you going to do with your overpower of others and overdominance of others and throwing hate at people? And okay, what are you going to do with your hate then? Then you're going to hide behind your Bible. You're going to hide behind your religion. Then what? These are facts. What are you going to do? I'm calling judgment across this globe. You take out any people's lives. I don't care who you are. I don't care about your ranking. I don't care about what you sit in, the box store religions that you sit in, the beliefs that you sit in. You take out anybody's life. You touch anybody's life in mutilation of any way. In a dark occult practice, or what you hide behind your religion and saying, this is just what the men do to the woman. Is what we do when she says her expression, or when she has a guy that looks at her. Is what we do to our woman here. Is what we do to our woman folk. Meanwhile, there's no divine feminine left on your planet, and all that's left is little boys. Then what? Genius? And you don't have any children that want to come here anymore because they see the damage that's done to every aspect of precious life on this planet. Then what, genius? Then you're imbalanced because there's no divine feminine. It's just a lot of arrogant, ignorant misogynists. Then what? Mutilator? Then what? Assassin? Then what? Fire starter? I'm calling you what you are, murderer. Guilty as charged. Judgment on every single person that sets fire in any way with a chemical or fire or stoning or mutilation. Judgment. I will see you in the highest courts. There will be what? There will be court cases as this, seen in the very near future, where such people that have heretofore not been found guilty will be found guilty because it is the planetary heart's decision. The planetary has chosen. Planet heart decision, planet soul decision, planet system decision, planetary grid decision. We have spiritual grids now, people, and guess what? They're universal. The spiritual grids are universal laws now. You do anything that harms another person and you call it and you hide behind your Bible or your religion or your belief. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are. The universe doesn't care about your little tiny 3D beliefs hiding behind your wounding of hate. Because you've just seen every woman before you being abused, and this is how we do it on our side of the fence. It isn't how you do it. This is a garden of God's grace, and this is God's grace speaking. You will not touch or mutilate or harm another life just because you're wounded. Because that's all that's speaking from there is wounding. You will not touch another divine feminine in any way. And I will be the one that will face you in the high courts, in the spiritual realm, and I'll follow you down to the physical. Because I'm on all realms. That's my jurisdiction. I'm here to clean up this side of the galaxy, and I'm gonna. And a 3D belief ain't mean nothing to me, and it ain't mean nothing to the universe. Our laws are being rewritten right now. Now. Our grids are universal. And then what, cowboy? Oh, abuser, then what? You're going to get healed. You're going to heal some of your distortions. What are you going to do? You're going to throw out more hate? You're going to go set somebody on fire? What are you going to do, abuser? You're going to come for me? See what happens. Angels and spirit guides, we have their number. And some of them will just go kicking and screaming all the way to hell. Because all there is inside of them is hate. And there were just the beautiful souls that were placed before them to show them. There is another way. You don't have to do what you do. And they just said, yes, we do. Why do you have to do what you do? I want to hear it from your soul. Why do you have to do why do you have to take people out? Why do you have to kill people? Because it's what they've been told. Okay, so then there's the Interpol investigations, FBI and CIA. See, some of these people are just robots. They're just acting on behalf of other people. So there you go. That was a spontaneous answer from those people that have been weaponized. How have they been weaponized? Some church and state. These people are being paid. There you go. Spontaneous channel right here, right there. You've heard it. Okay, take a deep breath. We're gonna align our chakras. We're gonna align our light bodies. Anybody that wants to book a session and a healing and an activation to get rid of all the negative energies, clapping and bells and sounds help out. So just open up your chakras and your pillar of light. I love everybody. Send love to everybody's spirit. Everybody's forgiven. Send them love and light. They need it. They've been told wrong things, and now their lives are in a destitution. And the cities and the councils and the governments, they know exactly who they are. The world leaders know exactly who they are. If they're not making things right now, and they're not doing up new policies, they're not doing up new laws, if they're getting rid of the freedom of expression, they're getting rid of that, they're throwing that off the table and they're going to burn it. If they're not doing right by their people, if they're not doing right by their land and these spiritual grids that are there, these spiritual grids will eat everybody alive. These spiritual grids are speaking, and I'm only speaking for it. Like it or not, that's how it goes. Because when you're higher consciousness, there's higher order laws, and God says, God says. This is God's plan for humanity. And those that are aligned will move through, and those that aren't won't. It is that easy. So heal your hate. There's no tolerance anymore. Trafficking rings will be pulled by June 30th. Black web will be pulled by June 30th. Chemtrails will be pulled by June 30th. Nuclear warbeds and all the war harms pulled by June 30th. Anything that is egregious by the dark occults and the abuse of power will be pulled by June 30th. Corruption is no more. Laws are being changed. Grids are the heart of humanity. The grids are the heart of humanity. The grids are the heart of humanity. We are 5D. We're not going to put up with this bullying. Corruption's done. And if you can't handle it, step aside, because there's lots of us that are coming in. No more abuse. The money will go back to the people. The money will go back to healing. The money will go back to education and higher form of higher law. No more corruption in the justice system. How could anybody have thought that was a thing? Corrupt judges will be pulled. Anything further on this, Spirit, before we bathe all of our clients listening now in Future Now Moments with the highs of the Holy Light? Open your hearts, divine sacred ones, and call in the Mother and the Father for blessing you and guiding you with all that you are as divine sacred light. Speak out, dear lighted ones. Stand up and be known and be heard. Stand up for your spiritual voice and your spiritual body. Your body is a vessel of the heavens, and nobody should abuse it on any level in any way. Your vessel is a vessel of the heavens, and nobody shall abuse it in any way. I have commandmentship over my body. These are mantras. I am Christ consciousness, and nobody shall abuse my body. And what in any way is it written in any religion? And if that's a religion, why would you follow it? Let's go burn our woman because she looks at somebody. Really? That's your compass? Really? Really, people? And then you have to look at it. In a high court of law, are you serious? It doesn't matter what your beliefs are. They're changing. Across our planet today, this is my word. The legal system and the judicial system will align with the universal grids. Their grids are spiritual now. Burning somebody and mutilating somebody because of your small beliefs is not okay. You will have to evolve or step off. It is that easy. There is no tolerance any further for the destruction of source sacred life. All life is sacred, all life is source. And if you say you're godly, I'll see you in court. Because you don't play God. Heal your beliefs. Because any belief says that you kill somebody or you destroy them and you defame them and you degrade them and you rip their skins apart because of your wounding and your hate. If you tell me that that's a thing, I will see you in court and I will sentence you to life because you took theirs. So will you heal now all that are having those experiences? Are your beliefs willing to be healed now? And some won't. Some will go out kicking and screaming, so let Source deal with them. Surrender all of those energies and entities and demons. Surrender those demons to Source, and you will see who those are, because you can blatantly say what the consequence is, and they will still refuse to heal. And those are the ones that have demonic and entity attachments and mental imbalances, and they have sold all that they are to the devil, and Lucifer and Satan are given leeway. Go get them. Go get them and make sure that no other souls are hurt and harmed in the process. Are you hearing me, lower realms? Yes, princess. Carry on. Across this planet, we vibrate with spiritual grids. Say that with intention. I am connected with the 5D New Earth Star's spiritual grids, and therefore, thus then, my intention is for the greater good of all, unity, peace, and abundance to all. Our voices are heard and our voices matter. We will arise to the highest intention of the Holy Source Creator. These are the spiritual grids speaking. This is our intention of the collective human heart, and we will not step down. This is our destiny, dear lighted ones. And this is where we will end our liturgies of today. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Take a deep breath. Ground into the spiritual grids. We are new leaders, and we are new teachers and healers and educators of higher light wisdoms and intelligences. May you all go forth with your intelligence of the Holy Source Creator within you, and in every moment, love all before you because they are you and you are they. This is the law of one, dear lighted ones. This is our heart's destiny, and nobody shall be bullied out of their right for their destiny with Source Creator. Period. That is a universal law, and it will be upheld on these grids. Are we all clear? Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Holy Spirit. 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 Love and unity, people. Do unto others, because it will be done to you. And sometimes that's just what some people need. We're calling this close to this session, please. Thank you, Holy Lord Michael. Please clear and cleanse the space. Please close up any openings. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So call upon any sessions, any activations, any webinars, lectures, any collaborations you'd like to work with me. Please make a payment through PayPal. I think today is now the 16th, so my sale is off. So it goes right back up to $250 US to have a 90-minute session with me. And as I said before, most of my sessions go over 90 minutes. Because I'm very generous, and sometimes I just love speaking to all of you. I love speaking about Source, and I love having the activations as well. And we end up staying on the phone for much longer. So I'm very happy. I have enough time for a few questions if anybody would like to ask me a question. Thank you for that spontaneous channeling, Father. I'm being activated in these new gifts and skills, so it's new to me too. Every time I get to channel, it's whatever Source wants me to practice. The ancestors are blessing me. Thank you, ancestors. I love you. If anybody wants to ask me a question, just going to put my jacket on and take a big stretch. When am I coming to California? I haven't got my schedule yet. I haven't done a schedule yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to do a schedule. Doesn't that bug you when the arm goes inside your jacket? There it is. Guys, I'm going to be putting together a schedule, and we'll have lots of beautiful protection and lots of beautiful angels and Father and all of the beautiful celestials that will be following us. We'll do some light ship gazing too. So beautiful. The spring equinox is going to be really powerful. There's a lot of clean out between now and the spring equinox. That's why we say to just ground and go slow, ground and go slow. Have some compassion for yourself and how much your body is really doing, right? And how much you've really let go. Like, really celebrate yourself for all these beliefs you're transforming. You're transforming thousands of years of beliefs about the abuse against women. People just automatically think women just get to be abused. No, we don't. Like, where is that a thing, people? No, it isn't. Incest is not okay. Raping your children is not okay. The spiritual grids are so powerful. So just know in your own life, the grids are working with you. Your sacred trinity is the heavens, Gaia, and your collective. So work with this every day in your ascension path work. It is the Holy Creator guiding you. Okay, we have time for one more question. One more question. I'm grateful for everybody for being a part of my learning journey. I'm so grateful to everyone. One telepathic question for the greater good of all. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Commander Ashtar. We're sitting with you in every moment and every day. The Father's plan will go forward. There will be nobody that will be further hurt in these experiences. The Father has given permission for those beings of such egregiousness to be moved. so that the rest of those that so desire will be safe upon their journeys and destinies. You have all come so far, and it will not be delayed any further. Those that deserve blessings will get their blessings, and there will be nothing that anybody can do. They will sit in their karma, and they will be a part of that part of their soul's expression and cycle. This is just how it goes. And the universe isn't going to change its laws because people do not want to face their karma and do not want to face their healing. And it does have to be investigated as to who has been told and how they've been weaponized. Because this is obviously, it's been an egregious criminal act to weaponize your humans to do your dirty work for you so that you can maintain a satanic Luciferian lifestyle. Not okay, people. Against all human rights laws. We need new laws. We need laws immediately. It needs to line up with universal grids. There's no going around it. Okay, one more question. Yes, lots happening in the sky. Yes, we're preparing for first contact. Our families are letting us know we're here. We're here to support you. We know that you're going through a tumultuous time. We just want you to know that we're here for you. We're going to support you. Go within and call for a guidance with your higher selves. Seek out those like Celeste that have higher wisdoms and higher knowledge, along with the other channelers that are also offering love and unconditional guidance. But we are at a point now where we're not going to be playing both sides. We're not playing back and forth anymore. It's just not going to happen. And there's judgment called, and there's jurisdictions that we will come and we will play on. We're not going to keep giving a billion chances and a billion chances and a billion chances while people are dying. We're getting on with the agenda of love and light and unity. And there will be certain people that you will see leave. This is the heavens and the higher order of their soul and their soul's agreement with Source Creator. Only they determine karma. Only they determine who's coming and who's going, period. Nobody on this planet has that right. We've learned our lessons, people. Let's move on and heal. This is the intention for New Earth Star. Build bridges. Love, peace, and unity. Heal your karma 51%. Each and every one of you are responsible for your vibration. So let's have some celebration. Let's go there. Let's do this. Pay attention to those that are lifting you up and giving the power back to you. You have your power of voice. You have your power of spirit. Spirit will never tell you to harm anybody and go against universal laws, period. Anybody telling you to go against universal laws, move away from them. Let them get the karma and carry on. It is that simple. So we're going to start behaving this way. Judicial systems are leveling up. Court systems are leveling up. Policing is leveling up. We're working together now. The grids have spoken. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And so, dear lighted ones, we'll see you maybe tomorrow. Depends. Sending you all love and light. Did you obviously see the little celestials? Sending you love and light. Thank you to some of the beautiful tribe and the beautiful soulmates. And those that have been donating, paypal.me/Joanna L. Ross. Thank you to anybody that has donated. My 2 clients that have donated. And my brand new clients, I love you. Thank you so much. And just so that you know, when you do donate, I do send light work and I do send you the angels to protect you and give you whatever blessings it is due for you. So I do that. Anytime I get a blessing, I also spend maybe about an hour and I send blessings and light and love to you. I send you good luck. So I do a lot of energy healing, just to let you know. So thank you so much. And I wanted to say thank you to Mother, Father, God for supporting me and allowing me to absolutely receive my destiny. I'm so very grateful. I'm so excited to help the collective and to move up in new, beautiful ways. I want to help anybody that wants a collaboration. Please just reach out and call me. Just book a session and I'll help you in any way that I can. I'm sending you each love and light, and I know that we're going to have an amazing, amazing new cycle. It's going to be so fun. I can't wait to see and meet all of you. And I love you. Namaste.